Bitcoin is not looking very healthy on the short-term time frames. Let's jump straight into it and take a peek here. So I'm on the 12-hour chart. This is my favorite time frame to look at BTC, and we have two things going on: indicator and structurally from a patternish standpoint. I'm not a pattern trader, but channels, especially very aggressive channels, do work. So we're going to dive into both of those. So take a look real quick. This is going to potentially greatly affect your altcoin. This is not I'm not saying this is urgent, but rather you need to be aware of the potential for a Bitcoin drop to greatly affect the altcoin positions that you're holding, specifically if you're in leverage longs. And if you're in leverage longs, you need to move stops into profit like now. So I'm not saying right under current price, but you need to move them up. Anyway, so the 12-hour RSI, it fell out of the bullish control zone. So this white line here, this is the EMA of the RSI. It came up, got rejected. It's probably going to hit this white line. Does price have to tank too far when it does that? No, it could bounce off 60K or even make a second higher low here, which would also be a daily higher low as well. It could do something like this and still hit that line around 60,800. That could easily happen. However, you also have a fresh cross down of the 12-hour Stokes, which is not a small time frame. You have to really consider this stuff. Could it bounce from here? Absolutely, it could, but I mean, you would be leaning on the fact that, you have to have a bullish bias because everything's bullish, which is true. So you have to consider that as well. But the chart outside of a bullish bias, which you do have to consider, you have to have a slightly bullish bias here. It looks like it's going to come down a little bit more. I would guess 60,800 for a higher low, but that's my most probable. Second most probable, you retag the 60K line or retag this wick low. So I would mix those for tied for number 2, the top of this blue box zone. And third, it could hit, the worst case 54K, the bottom, but it also might just tag the top of this line. So I would say my third most likely it either hits the bottom of this blue box or the top of this one, and fourth most likely, the worst case is 53K. So, again, fourth most likely, which means it's probably less than a 10% chance. Okay, if you start adding up all the likelihoods to 100%, right? 100% chances. So I still think bullish bias, it's going to make a higher low, but from a lower time frame standpoint, if I can go to the 1-hour chart, look what's happening here. Just take a look. So that was the indicators on my favorite chart. Now structurally, so this is the second, but before we jump into the second one, please, returning viewers, take a moment to hit like, and if you don't, then you get flipped off over here. And also new viewers, if you like what you're seeing, I do have links to my Patreon community if you want more of this type of content, and hit subscribe, and hit that bell for me so that you can stay in the know. And honestly, you know what? This isn't such a bullish video. Why do I have this background? Let's go to this one. All right, so let's keep rocking here. So let's go back. So now we've covered indicators on my favorite chart, the chart that really doesn't let me down too much. And I should have been looking at it right before the big drop of the Wyckoff, because I probably would have had a better idea. And I totally messed up that drop because Ethereum was flying, and so was Cardano. It was insane. It was a legit mess. But anyway, so structurally, you have an aggressive trading channel and the secondary aggressive trading channel. And you have these forms, it's fairly frequent in Bitcoin during bullish moves. So off the 29K lows, aggressive channel, secondary aggressive channel. You see that? And when you drop into the channel, and you make highs that don't go back to the primary channel, you drop out of it, period. You don't have to tank, but you do drop out of it. It's every time. It's almost every single time if you can't get back into that zone. So, and it's possible you do it with see how it made a higher high? So this previous high made a higher high, but it didn't break back into the channel, and boom, it worked its way out. And that's a tradable move. And if you're in altcoins on particular futures positions and longs, this is that's a big move. It greatly affects you, right? So this can greatly it has the potential. I'm not doing this to scare people and, warning, because my first most probable is it's almost done. It'll probably come down a little bit more, make a higher low. That would be my most likely scenario, but you need to be aware of multiple possibilities here. This looks like it could come down a little bit. It has the potential to come down significantly lower here. And so now you look what happened. So I just showed you two instances. Okay. So check this out. You saw two similar areas where you had aggressive primary, secondary. The next high could not break back in, right? So I just showed you that. Now look what's happening on current price. Check this out. It's not running up the stairs. So hey, people who saw my last video, is that too loud? So it looks like, honestly, it might be right. It could run down the stairs because you have a high that did not break back into this channel. So you have the 12-hour chart. So in summary here, you have the and Ethereum. Actually, let's go to Ethereum before I summarize this video. Ethereum, oddly enough, is still in the aggressive. So this is a little bit of bullish bias. Ethereum could pull Bitcoin back up. But if you look at Ethereum on my favorite chart, use indicators. My favorite time frame on Ethereum is the 8 hour. It's making lower highs. The RSI is stuck under it's not stuck, but it looks like it's starting to get rejected from its EMA. The EMA is the white line, the RSI itself is the green line, and this looks okay. So take a look at this. Look, the green zone is the bullish zone. This is the bearish. This is all neutral. It looks like it got rejected from the bearish controls or the bullish. The green. See how this is a green line right here, right? It looks like it got rejected. And oftentimes when you get rejected, you come back, tag this line at bare minimum, which doesn't mean a lot of price action to the downside because this is relative strength previous to the previous 12 candles. This is the previous to the particular to the 12 EMA. Particular to the previous 12 8-hour candles. So the 12 8-hour candles, if this is going to come down, it really only needs to check this bottom line. But what will Bitcoin do? Probably check 60,800 if Ethereum were to do this, then to crawl back in. So if Ethereum could potentially ping off that bottom line and pull Bitcoin back up, but that still means Bitcoin needs to test down lower first. Maybe not too much lower. Maybe, I'm not saying crash, and also take a look. You have, potential lower high on the RSI, like cross down. It might need to come back down and do something, do a little dance over here as well. So that would all mean on Ethereum, it's going to come down and check that that secondary bottom line here. And Bitcoin probably will hit 6,800 at best case in this scenario. Now, take a look at this. I want you to really, so this honestly might be this is the cherry on top right here. All right. So, the leverage ratio, so price is the white line on the left-hand side, leverage ratio is the blue line. So you can see the blue line up here is at the same height when you got the flash crash at $10,000 in 8 minutes or an hour or whatever the hell it was. Remember? It's at the same level. Crap's over leverage. Now, does it have to go down? No, because if you look down here, short liquidations also, actually, move my ugly ass face. Short liquidations and long liquidations haven't been severe recently. We are due. We are due for we're due for a big move, just to screw people. It's not, I wouldn't call this organic price action, but in terms of liquidity within and all stops, because stops is a form of liquidity, within when people are gambling with their money and they're not the house, yo. So over in my community, so you see my nice cosasverdes shirt, cosasverdes, if I could say my own. Damn, why aren't you saying your name correctly, dude? Are you drinking before 2 p.m.? No, I'm not. But anyway, so, people gambling, which is the vast majority of people in futures, they don't even probably know what the 4-hour 21 EMA means, right? And if you don't, you shouldn't be in futures either, and you should go freaking look at my video in the description section that shows you how to set up a chart like mine. You need to know, and I explain it all there. So anyway, really go check that out. You don't need to be messing around with clicking with your money if you don't know what that means. So we're due for a liquidation somewhere. It's gonna happen. It looks. So this could be a fake out to the downside before a short squeeze, because shorts need liquidated too. Both need liquidated. Or what could happen is it liquidates longs and then flies up. Stuff could get really volatile really fast. I wouldn't say that's the most probable. I would say it would go one way first, consolidate, then run the other way. Consolidate maybe 5 days a week, something to that effect. Like a doji, so that week would close a doji with long wicks. But we're due for liquidation. Crap's over leveraged. Something might happen relatively soon, folks. I'm telling you, it's not looking the greatest right now. It could go either way. So, how do you protect against this? Okay, Tim. So what you're saying? Hey, Tim, I have a question. Okay. What is it? So what you're saying is price could go up or down or sideways? Yes, that's what I'm saying. But I've given you all of the top 4 or 5 scenarios and what to look out for, particular to where Ethereum bounces, because Ethereum will likely pull Bitcoin up now that I'm very confident that Bitcoin dominance will not make a new local high. And if you haven't watched that video, honestly, that was That was a pretty solid video. You should go. So it's a very recent video where the thumbnail says Bitcoin dominance. You should watch that. You'll learn a lot about trading in that and how EMAs and horizontals and origin lines work. Like you'll. So I essentially talk about Bitcoin dominance as if it were price. But anyway, so because Bitcoin dominance, I'm very confident it won't make a new local high above whatever the hell point it was at per that video. I think Ethereum will pull Bitcoin up. So yes, it could go up, down, or sideways, but I've given you the exact key levels of what to look for and how, with the idea that you can be nimble and respond to that. So everybody, if you liked what you saw here today, again, before you go, hit like for me. If you don't, then you get a flip off. And if you liked what you saw and you're new, hit subscribe, hit that bell so you can stay in the know. And don't hesitate to check out the links to my community in the description section. Within that link itself, you don't just have to go, oh, I joined and then figure it out. No, I give you exact. So if you click on the Patreon thing, the Patreon itself, it shows exact links to Google Docs of real examples of the content that I provide for each tier. So you can decide for yourself, hey, is this dumbass with like some hick looking Bitcoin hat and camo hat on, who looks dumb on screen? Is this guy worth my time and investment? So check that out. And y'all just got Timified. We'll see you next time.